Hello brothers, and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. Sometimes the cleanest way to move forward is to set fire to where you came from. It sounds ruthless until you realize it's the Sigma male's version of self-respect. Studies show that most people stay in draining relationships or toxic circles out of guilt or nostalgia. But the Sigma, he's the anomaly. The man who doesn't just walk away, he deletes the exit route so he can't be tempted to turn back. While others draft long explanations or rehearse emotional goodbyes, he's already miles ahead, probably humming to himself as the bridge turns to ash behind him. To him, burning bridges isn't rebellion, it's maintenance. It's how he keeps his mind uncluttered, his soul untangled, and his focus razor sharp. Because for a Sigma, not every connection deserves repair. Some deserve to be remembered, only by the smoke they left behind. Number one, his reputation thrives on finality. A Sigma male doesn't just walk away, he erases the trail behind him. Once he decides a connection has expired, there's no re-entry, no do-over, no maybe later. That's not cruelty. That's his way of protecting his time, energy, and reputation. People know this about him, that when he leaves, he leaves. And that's exactly what gives his presence such weight while he's still around. His commitment is never questioned, because everyone understands that if he's in your life, it's by choice, not convenience. This sense of finality creates an aura that most can't imitate. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. The Sigma male doesn't thrive on chaos, second chances, or emotional negotiations. He lives by his own code, one that values precision over popularity. When he ends something, it's because he has reached a logical conclusion, not a dramatic impulse. That's what makes it sting for others. They realize he didn't walk away to prove a point. He walked away because the point was already proven. People often mistake his coldness for ego, but it's not that. It's discipline. The Sigma male doesn't leave doors half open because he knows curiosity invites ghosts. Every bridge he burns is a statement that he refuses to be haunted by people who no longer align with his growth. His refusal to go back isn't about holding grudges. It's about guarding peace. Over time, this pattern builds his reputation. Others learn that his loyalty is deep but conditional. It lasts only as long as respect does. Once that respect is broken, he withdraws completely, leaving a silence that speaks louder than confrontation ever could. And that silence, it follows people. It reminds them that they were once connected to someone who meant what he said, and when he said it was over, he meant that too. That's why his reputation doesn't suffer from his exits. It's reinforced by them. People may not like how he ends things, but they can't deny one truth. When a Sigma leaves your life, he never circles back. And that's exactly why his presence, while brief, is unforgettable. Number two, he'd rather be misunderstood than manipulated. The Sigma male has made peace with one uncomfortable truth. Not everyone will understand him, and that's perfectly fine. He doesn't crave validation or spend time trying to correct people's assumptions. In a world where most bend their behavior to be liked, he stands firm in being real, even if that honesty earns him a few enemies. People often misread his calm detachment as arrogance, his silence as judgment, or his independence as emotional distance. But none of that bothers him because he knows that the moment he starts explaining himself just to be accepted, he's already surrendered control. What sets him apart is how immune he is to the need for approval. While others are busy managing impressions, the Sigma guards his integrity. He'd rather be seen as cold than be emotionally blackmailed into playing nice. He'd rather be labeled difficult than allow someone to pull his strings. To him, misunderstanding is a minor inconvenience. Manipulation is the real threat. And he never trades authenticity for social comfort. This mindset makes him unpredictable to people who thrive on emotional games. They can't guilt him, flatter him, or trap him in emotional debt. The Sigma male sees through it all. He doesn't care if someone walks away thinking he's heartless. He'd rather be free and misread than agreeable and owned. That's why manipulators avoid him. He doesn't feed their need for control. Ironically, the very things people criticize him for, his distance, his silence, his refusal to explain, are the same qualities that keep him untouchable. He operates from clarity, not emotion, and if being misunderstood is the price of peace, he pays it gladly, because for him, being true to himself is worth more than being understood by people who only listen to twist his words. In a world desperate for approval, his indifference becomes his ultimate power and his freedom. Number 3, he's not running. He's recalibrating. People love to label what they don't understand. When a Sigma male walks away, they say he's running, avoiding, or too afraid to confront things. But that's because most people confuse peace with passivity. The Sigma isn't escaping, he's recalibrating. When the noise becomes too loud, or the energy around him turns toxic, he doesn't argue, he doesn't defend. He simply steps back to reset his mind. To him, withdrawal isn't weakness, it's maintenance. His disappearances aren't about fear, they're about efficiency. He knows that clarity never survives in chaos. When he senses that people, places, or patterns are draining his focus, he hits the internal reset button. The world calls it avoidance. He calls it strategy. He doesn't see value in staying where his energy is being wasted. Instead of fighting battles that don't grow him, he redirects his attention to what does. Every quiet moment he takes is a calculation, not a retreat. The Sigma male operates like a system. When something glitches, he doesn't throw a tantrum, he rewires. That's why his comebacks are always sharper, cleaner, and more composed. People notice it too, how he returns not bitter, but evolved. While others were busy gossiping about his absence, he was realigning his purpose, trimming emotional clutter, and fine-tuning his direction. Those who once accused him of running eventually realize he was never running from anything. He was running towards something clearer. His absence is never about avoidance, it's about acceleration. He uses solitude like others use therapy, to dissect, rebuild, and restart. And when he reappears, he's not seeking validation or revenge, just alignment. That's why the Sigma male never explains his silence. He knows most people wouldn't understand that his solitude is his power source. While the world rushes to fix everything externally, he masters the art of internal repair. And that's why, when he walks away, it's not the end. It's an upgrade. Number 4, he understands that love without boundaries is self-sabotage. The Sigma male has learned that love, without limits, becomes a weapon against the giver. He's seen how people disguise control as care, how "I'm just worried about you" can slowly turn into "you owe me your energy." So he builds boundaries, not walls, but intelligent filters. He doesn't shut people out because he fears connection. He limits access because he values peace. He knows that when love demands constant availability, it stops being love and starts being ownership. To him, boundaries aren't about ego, they're about equilibrium. The Sigma male gives deeply, but never endlessly. He knows that energy without structure gets abused, and loyalty without balance becomes servitude. That's why he's unapologetic about protecting his time and space. He'll listen, help, and care, but he'll never let anyone feed on his emotional bandwidth. People who mistake his calm distance for indifference don't understand that it's actually self-respect in motion. This awareness is why he burns bridges that threaten his mental sovereignty. When a relationship starts to feel like a negotiation for his peace, he doesn't try to fix it. He ends it. Not because he doesn't care, but because he's smart enough to know that care shouldn't cost him his sanity. The Sigma male refuses to romanticize chaos or call dysfunction love. He believes that affection without boundaries is just emotional anarchy wrapped in sentiment. He's not cold, he's conscious. He's not detached, he's disciplined. He knows that the kind of love that lasts isn't the one that consumes, but the one that coexists. And so, while others drown in the name of connection, he stays afloat by knowing exactly where to draw the line. Because for the Sigma male, real love isn't about losing yourself in someone else. It's about keeping enough of yourself to still be whole when they're gone. Number 5, he treats disrespect as a one-way exit. The Sigma male doesn't negotiate with disrespect. For him, it's not just an emotional offense. It's a signal that someone has revealed who they truly are. The moment he's disrespected, something inside him switches off permanently. No loud reaction, no argument, no need for revenge, just silence. Because once that line is crossed, the connection dies instantly in his mind. He doesn't hold grudges, he just deletes access. To him, disrespect isn't something you recover from, it's a disqualification. He understands that people who disrespect you once often do it again, only smarter next time. So he never gives them the chance. He won't talk it out or see their side. Those phrases are what manipulators use to re-enter the lives they've already damaged. The Sigma doesn't fall for that. His forgiveness might come with time, but his boundaries never bend backward. Once trust has been contaminated, he doesn't try to purify it. He discards it entirely. People often call him unforgiving or extreme, but that's only because they mistake tolerance for maturity. The Sigma male knows the difference. Tolerance without boundaries is just permission for more disrespect. He's not trying to prove a point or punish anyone. He's just not interested in rebuilding what was destroyed by someone else's ego. That's why people remember losing him. They realize too late that he doesn't play the back and forth game. There's no dramatic goodbye or second round of chances. His exits are quiet but final. And what makes it hit harder is how peacefully he moves on, like the disrespect never even existed. To the Sigma male, respect isn't optional. It's the foundation. Break it once, and you've burned the entire structure. And while he may eventually wish you well, it will always be from a distance. Because once you've shown him who you are, he believes you the first time. Number 6, he doesn't believe in toxic people, only misaligned frequencies. The Sigma male doesn't throw around words like toxic or fake. He sees that kind of labeling as emotional laziness, a way for people to feel superior instead of self-aware. To him, relationships are all about alignment. Every person gives off a certain energy, a certain frequency, and not everyone will resonate with his. When the signals clash, he doesn't accuse or condemn. He just quietly disconnects. It's not personal, it's practical. He understands that not every mismatch is malicious. Sometimes it's just two people vibrating on different wavelengths. That's why he rarely holds grudges. The Sigma male doesn't waste time dissecting why someone disappointed him. He simply accepts that the connection has reached its expiration date and moves on. There's no grand emotional drama, no closure conversation. When the energy feels wrong, he steps out. And because he's not fueled by hate, he can walk away without bitterness. His exits are clean, not because he's heartless, but because he's mastered the art of detachment. This perspective saves him from the emotional chaos most people live in. He doesn't chase compatibility, nor does he force it. If something feels forced, he knows it's already broken. While others are busy labeling people as problems, the Sigma focuses on maintaining his own signal, keeping it clear, strong, and undistorted. He'd rather lose connections than lose alignment. What makes him different is that he never demonizes those who fall out of sync with him. He simply acknowledges that they're operating on a different frequency now, and that's okay. There's a quiet maturity in that. No anger, no guilt, no blame, just understanding. For the Sigma male, peace doesn't come from controlling who stays. It comes from accepting who no longer fits. So when he tunes out, it's not rejection, it's calibration. He's not cutting people off. He's staying true to the rhythm of his own frequency. Number 7, he destroys before he's drained. The Sigma male has a sharp instinct for spotting when something or someone starts to pull more energy than they give. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. He feels the shift before the damage begins, that subtle moment when support turns into dependence or loyalty turns into emotional taxation. And when he senses it, he doesn't wait around for it to become unbearable. He ends it early, clean, fast, and final. What others call cold, he calls clarity. He knows that emotional exhaustion doesn't happen overnight. It's built quietly, in small, invisible withdrawals. The constant favors, the unspoken expectations, the guilt trips disguised as care. He sees them for what they are, slow leaks in his peace. While most people stick around out of guilt or fear of looking selfish, the Sigma doesn't flinch at the idea of walking away. He understands that once someone starts feeding off your energy, you're no longer in a relationship. You're in a transaction, and he refuses to live in emotional debt. This is why people often misinterpret him as ruthless. They can't understand how someone can end a friendship, partnership, or bond so decisively. But to him, it's not cruelty, it's protection. He doesn't destroy connections to prove power. He destroys them to protect his fuel. Every minute he spends drained is a minute stolen from his mission, and that's a price he'll never pay. What sets him apart is how early he acts. The Sigma doesn't wait for chaos to prove him right. He trusts his instincts the first time. When the energy feels off, he exits, not later, not after one more chance. And that's what keeps him sharp, calm, and consistently ahead. In his world, survival isn't about endurance, it's about precision. He's not afraid of losing people. He's afraid of losing himself. So when it comes to energy leeches, the Sigma doesn't negotiate or warn. He eliminates the source before it drains his spirit dry. Number 8, he refuses to negotiate his peace. For the Sigma male, peace isn't a luxury, it's law. It's not something he hopes to keep. It's something he enforces with quiet precision. He doesn't debate, justify, or make peace conditional on anyone's behavior. If a person, situation, or environment begins to disturb his inner balance, he doesn't start a conversation. He starts walking. His peace isn't up for discussion because he knows the moment you have to negotiate for it, it's already gone. Most people talk about peace like it's fragile, something to be constantly defended from external chaos. The Sigma doesn't live that way. He builds his peace like a fortress, not to keep the world out, but to filter what gets in. And if someone consistently disrupts that stillness, he doesn't need to warn them. The bridge burns itself the moment they cross his threshold of tolerance. No fights, no emotional spectacle, just absence. That's his version of justice. He's learned that peace is expensive, and the price is usually people who can't handle silence, boundaries, or accountability. So he pays that price without flinching. Others may call it harsh or selfish, but the Sigma sees it as survival. To him, the mind is sacred ground. Once chaos enters, clarity dies, and he refuses to hand over that clarity to anyone, no matter how close they once were. This is what makes him so rare. He doesn't need to be liked, understood, or forgiven for choosing himself. He knows that protecting his peace isn't arrogance, it's maturity. While others compromise their sanity to maintain appearances, the Sigma will sacrifice connections to maintain calm. His peace isn't a negotiation table. It's a boundary line carved in stone, and when someone tries to cross it, they don't get a second chance. They get distance, permanent, silent, and absolute. Number 9. He doesn't wait for betrayal to confirm instinct. The Sigma male lives by instinct, not excuses. He doesn't need someone to betray him outright before he starts believing the signs. His intuition is too sharp, too seasoned to ignore. When his gut tells him that someone's energy has shifted, that their loyalty has cracks, that their words don't align with their tone, he listens immediately. He doesn't need drama or evidence. His gut is the evidence. He's learned through experience that waiting for betrayal is just a polite way of giving someone more time to hurt you. And the Sigma male doesn't entertain that luxury. Once his instincts whisper that something's off, he starts pulling back quietly, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. He knows that intuition is the brain's early warning system, collecting microsignals the conscious mind can't yet explain. Most people ignore those signals until the damage is visible. He doesn't. He acts before the storm hits. This makes him appear cold or paranoid to others. They mistake his early exits for overreactions. But what they don't see is that he's protecting something far more valuable than comfort, his peace of mind. The Sigma male would rather end 10 false alarms than endure one preventable betrayal. To him, walking away too soon is always better than staying too long. And when he does cut someone off, he doesn't second-guess it. He doesn't stalk, check in, or seek closure. The decision is clean, immediate, final. He's not interested in being proven right, only in staying unharmed. That's the quiet brilliance of the Sigma. He's guided not by what's obvious, but by what's felt. While most people need evidence to believe, the Sigma male trusts the unseen. His instinct is his compass, and it rarely fails him. Because when you've mastered the art of sensing deception before it shows, you never need betrayal to teach you twice. Number 10. He measures value in energy, not history. The Sigma male doesn't cling to people just because they've been around for a long time. To him, history means nothing if the present is empty. He's not sentimental about timelines. He's practical about energy. If the flow becomes one-sided, if he's the only one showing up, listening, or giving effort, he starts mentally closing the account. In his world, every relationship is an exchange of energy, not in a transactional way, but in a balanced one. Once that balance dies, so does his interest. He's seen too many people stay stuck in draining relationships simply because of shared memories. The Sigma sees that as emotional debt, a kind of loyalty trap that rewards the past while bleeding the present dry. He doesn't confuse longevity with loyalty. Someone can stand beside you for years and still never stand for you. That's why he pays attention to energy, not history books written in nostalgia. When the dynamic starts feeling heavy or repetitive, he doesn't wait for resentment to grow. He steps back early, not because he's cold, but because he understands energy is his most valuable currency. Time can be replaced, effort can be renewed, but once his energy is wasted, he knows it's gone forever. That's why he never pays interest on dead investments, relationships that only exist because no one has the courage to end them. People often call him detached, but he's simply honest. He understands that connection without reciprocity is emotional debt, and debt always demands repayment, usually in the form of stress, fatigue, and self-neglect. The Sigma male refuses to live like that. He'll honor the past, but he won't be held hostage by it. If the energy stops matching, he quietly withdraws and redirects that power back into himself. Because in the Sigma's world, consistency doesn't mean staying. It means staying aligned. And when that alignment is gone, so is he. Number 11. He ends what he's already outgrown. The Sigma male doesn't cling to comfort zones, he outgrows them. The moment a person, environment, or routine stops challenging his growth, he begins detaching naturally. It's not drama, it's evolution. He's wired to keep expanding, and anything that keeps him circling the same lessons starts to feel like confinement. While others see stability as success, he sees it as stagnation. For him, staying where he's already evolved past isn't loyalty, it's self-betrayal. When a Sigma burns a bridge, it's rarely because of conflict. It's because the bridge no longer leads anywhere new. He values experiences that sharpen him, relationships that stretch him, and environments that awaken new dimensions of his mind. Once those stop existing, he doesn't hesitate to leave. There's no guilt, no bitterness, just a quiet understanding that growth requires departure. People often misinterpret this as arrogance or restlessness, but it's neither. He's simply allergic to repetition. The Sigma male isn't chasing perfection, he's chasing expansion. If his surroundings no longer mirror his internal progress, he knows it's time to move on. He doesn't need to justify it or wait for validation. To him, comfort zones are spiritual traps disguised as peace. He sees life as a constant upgrade process, and he refuses to run outdated software. When he leaves someone or something behind, it's not an act of rejection, it's an act of renewal. He knows that clinging to what's familiar can suffocate potential. That's why his exits, though quiet, are always intentional. He doesn't wait for the world to give him permission to evolve. He takes it. For the Sigma male, endings aren't sad. They're sacred. They mark the moment he chooses growth over attachment, truth over nostalgia, because he understands one simple law. When you've outgrown something, staying isn't love. It's decay. Number 12. He burns bridges to light his own path. When the Sigma male cuts ties, it's never just about leaving. It's about clearing the path forward. He doesn't burn bridges out of anger or pride. He burns them for illumination. The fire that others see as destruction is actually his light source. Every ending he creates feeds his evolution, turning loss into direction and pain into propulsion. To him, every bridge burned is a signal flare that says, that chapter is done, time for something higher. He understands that some connections, no matter how once valuable, start casting shadows instead of light. And when that happens, he doesn't cling, he ignites. The burn is both symbolic and strategic. It forces him to move forward without the temptation to return. Where others mourn what's lost, the Sigma studies the ashes, learns the lesson, and uses it to fuel his next move. He's not running from the past. He's using it as kindling for his growth. What makes him different is his refusal to waste pain. Most people see endings as tragedy. He sees them as transformation. The same fire that destroys also clarifies. It shows him who he was, what he's outgrown, and where he's meant to go next. Each burned bridge becomes a reminder that progress often demands sacrifice, that you can't build new foundations while still defending the old ones. He doesn't seek revenge or closure. His satisfaction comes from the clarity that follows. Once the flames die down, what remains is freedom, the rare kind that comes from having nothing left to return to. That's why the Sigma never regrets his exits. Every goodbye, every cut-off, every flame, it all becomes part of his evolution. He doesn't burn bridges to destroy his past. He burns them so his future has light. For the Sigma male, destruction isn't loss, it's ignition. Conclusion. When the Sigma male burns bridges, it's never out of bitterness, it's out of precision. Every disconnection, every quiet exit, Every sudden silence is part of his evolution. He doesn't walk away to prove he's heartless. He walks away to protect the parts of himself that the world tries to dilute. His endings are not collapses, they're recalibrations. The bridges he burns aren't signs of destruction, but of direction. They mark the places where he refused to shrink, where he chose clarity over comfort, and where he transformed pain into power. Most people spend their lives trying to keep every bridge intact, terrified of being labeled cold or difficult. But the Sigma male has learned that keeping every bridge is how you stay trapped on the wrong side of your own growth. He understands that peace requires pruning, that silence is sometimes louder than explanation, and that loyalty without alignment is just a slow form of self-sabotage. So when he walks away, it's not drama, it's discipline. He's not punishing anyone, he's prioritizing himself. Because at the end of the day, his energy is sacred, his time is valuable, and his mind is his only true home. And if that means walking through fire and leaving a few bridges behind, then so be it. He'll light his own way forward. If this resonated with you, don't just scroll away. Subscribe to the channel for more brutally honest insights on Sigma psychology and power dynamics. Hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Every time you engage, you help this message reach more people who are done apologizing for protecting their peace.